Gopi Priya Janna Radhika Ramana Bhuvana Sundara Bhora Ravana Takara Makana Taskara Gopi Jana Vastrahari Brajera Kala Gopa Vrindapalo Chittahari Vamsidhari Yogendra Bandhana Srinandanandana Prajajana Bhayahari Navina Nirada Rupa Manohara Mohana Vamsi Bihari Yashodanandana Kamsa Nishudana Nikunjarasa Vilasi Kadamba Kanana Rasa Parayana Vrinda Vipina Nivasi Anandavardhana Premaniketana Pulasharayo Jakakana Gopangana Gana Chitta Vinodhana Samasta Guna Gana Dhamma Yamuna Jivana Kili Parayana Manasa Chandra Chakora Namashudaras Ko Krishnayas Rako Vachanamana Mohora Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janabalabha Giridharadhari Gopi Jana Balabha Giridharidhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nittai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nittai Gaur Hari Bo. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Daivim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat. Nastapraeshu vabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. So we're reading fourth canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter number 24. Right? Chapter 24, entitled Chanting the Song sung by Lord Shiva. Text number 55. Tam duraradyam aradhya Satam api durapaya Ekanta bhaktya ko vanchet Padamulam bina bahi Tam duraradyamaradhya Satam api durapaya Ekanta bhaktya ko vanchet Padamulam bina bahi Tam duraradyam aradhya Satam api durapaya Ekanta bhaktya ko vanchet Padamulam bina bahi. Vaishnavis. Tam, unto you, duraradyam, very difficult to worship. Aradhya, having worshipped. Satam api, even for the most exalted persons. Durapaya, very difficult to attain. Ekanta, pure. Bhaktya, by devotional service. Ka, who is that man? Vanchit, should desire. Padamulam, lotus feet. Vina, without. Bahi, outsiders. Translation. My dear Lord, pure devotional service is even difficult for liberated persons to discharge. But devotional service alone can satisfy you. Who will take to other processes of self-realization if he is actually serious about the perfection of life? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The word satam refers to transcendentalists. There are three kinds of transcendentalists: the jnani, yogi, and bhakta. Out of these three, the bhakta is selected as the most suitable candidate to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is emphasized herein that only one who is outside devotional service would not engage in searching for the lotus feet of the Lord. Foolish people sometimes maintain that God may be attained in any way, either by karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, etc. But here it is clearly stated that it is impossible to obtain the mercy of the Lord by any means but bhakti yoga. The word duraradya is especially significant. It is very difficult to attain the lotus feet of the Lord by any method other than bhakti yoga. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitamscha. Hey Krishna Karana Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Precharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasade Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we're hearing the prayers of Lord Shiva. He's instructing the prachetas in how to pray to the Lord. So he is telling us in this section, in this verse particularly, he's explaining that pure devotional service is not an easy thing. It's even difficult for liberated persons. Pure devotional service means devotional service without any influence of the modes of nature. We tend to perform our devotional service influenced by the modes of nature. Jai Nrsimha Bhagavan ki. So in Kapila's teachings, Lord Kapila, in third canto, he explains how devotional service is certainly influenced by the modes of nature. In the mode of ignorance, we may perform devotional service. One may even worship the deities, but you may do it in the mode of ignorance. We may not be clean. We may not be in proper consciousness. If we approach the deities without the proper preparation, maybe we go to worship the deity, we don't bathe, we don't put on clean cloth, and so on. So we're influenced by the mode of ignorance. Devotional service in the mode of passion, we're performing devotional service and we're looking to get some name and fame for ourselves. We want to be known as a great devotee. Oh, look, he's such a good devotee. He is doing so much service for the Lord. That is the mode of passion. The mode of passion, we also perform devotional service sometimes in a grudging manner. You know, we say, oh, why you ask me to cook? Why I have to do the arti? Or why I have to give the class? You know, what we grudgingly we perform our devotional service. And so the mode of passion there, and sometimes we even do devotional service we want to harm other people. So certainly the modes of nature are there, and even the mode of goodness is not yet pure devotion. The mode of goodness, we're performing devotional service, and we're thinking that the goal of devotional service is to get rid of my sinful reactions and to give me liberation. You know, we're just simply thinking liberation, get free from the material world. So that's not pure devotion. That's maybe the mode of goodness, but it's not pure devotion. So Lord Shiva is saying here, pray in his prayer to the Lord, that pure devotional service is difficult even for liberated persons. But then only devotional service can satisfy the Lord. And of course, what satisfies the Lord? It's only pure devotion satisfies the Lord. It should be devotional service which is done simply for the pleasure of the Lord. So then Lord Shiva continues, who will take to other processes of self-realization if he is actually serious about the perfection of life? So there are different processes of self-realization, but they're all influenced by material desires. It is stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's one verse, Bhukti Mukti Siddhikami Sakale Ashanta Krishna Bhakti Niskam Saisha Shanta. Different desires people have. Desire for bhukti, meaning sense gratification. We want to enjoy the material world. Or mukti, we want liberation. Siddhi, we want yoga perfections. Kam, we want sense gratification. So bhukti, mukti, siddhi, kami, sakale ashanta. All of these different people are not peaceful. They have some desire. They want to get something from the Lord. So that is not the mood of pure devotional service. They may be thinking about even liberation. You could say liberation is self-realization, theoretically. That you understand you're not the body, you can liberate yourself. But it's a selfish motive. We're simply thinking about our own salvation. It is not pure devotion. Pure devotion means we simply serve simply for the satisfaction of the Lord, simply for His pleasure, not for our pleasure, but for His pleasure. The devotees, the pure devotees, they're only thinking about satisfying Krishna. What does Krishna want? And they're ready to sacrifice everything for the pleasure of Krishna. And we can see wonderful examples, for example, the mood of the gopis of Vrindavan, who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu considered to be the topmost devotees. The mood of the gopis was, they gave up even their chastity. They gave up their position as wives, that they were married to people of Vrindavan, to cowherd men. But they were willing to sacrifice that, to sacrifice their relationship with their husbands, to sacrifice their good name in the community, among the people, because if the woman becomes unchaste, then it's a great stain on her character. But the gopis, their only thought was the pleasure of Krishna. They didn't think about their own pleasure. Their only thought is to satisfy Krishna. What does Lord Krishna want? So that is the mood of pure devotion, and that is what really satisfies Krishna more than any other thing. But to come to that level of pure devotion, it is not an easy thing. We know it. It's very difficult because we are attached. We have attachments. We're attached to our position. We're attached to our name, and we're not really thinking so much about Krishna, but we think more about ourselves. We think, what will I get? What's in it for me? We're not thinking just simply Krishna, only Krishna. Whatever Krishna wants, we're ready to do. But we think also, what will I get? So that is the obstruction to pure devotion, that we have we still have some degree of bodily consciousness. And that is stopping us from giving our whole self to Krishna for the service of Krishna. So other processes are there for self-realization, but they're influenced by the material desires. The yogis, they want some powers, they want to show their powers, and they enjoy that power. And the jnanis, they want liberation. They want to get out of the material world. They're only thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about others. And the karmis, they want to enjoy the material world. So all these other different processes, they have material. The performers of these other processes, namely karma, jnana, and yoga, they're all influenced by their own desires, their material desires. But what Krishna wants is pure devotion. He wants that devotion which is not influenced by any kind of material desire. It must be pure, unalloyed devotion. Prabhupada uses this word, unalloyed. Alloys, metals are often alloys. They're mixed with, when they make steel, they will add different elements into the steel in order to bring out different qualities. Things like you have stainless steel. So stainless steel, they have to add some alloys in there to make it stainless. So Prabhupada saw this alloy, and when he came to America, he saw a billboard where it was using the word alloys. And then Prabhupada coined the word unalloyed. nothing, no other things in it. Just simply pure devotion, without any other kind of things added into it. That is the perfection of bhakti yoga. That devotion which is simply based on devotion only, out of love for Krishna. Love for Krishna means service to Krishna. And we want to serve Lord Krishna with devotion. We want to show our love for Krishna by our service. And that is the thing which pleases Lord Krishna more than anything else. So as devotees, we're trying to cultivate that kind of love for Krishna. It's the nature of every living entity to have loving relationships. We see the birds, they have their mates, their couples. You often see the birds together, couples. And we see also other animals, similar way. They have their relationships. They have love. They have some feelings for others. And of course, in human society also, we also have feelings for others. The mother cares naturally for her child. And some people are very nationalistic. They care for the country. They give their love to the country. Some people give their love to their job. In different ways. Some people, of course, nowadays common, they have dogs and they love their dog. We saw one man yesterday, he had 3 dogs, all on leashes around him. So people, we like to give our love to something. It's the nature of the living entity that they want to have relationships, and they try to find that loving exchange with someone or something. But the perfection of that love is when we give our love to the Supreme Lord, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is actually the highest love. We are trying to develop that. It's the highest thing. It's not easy. Just like to become a doctor or a lawyer, it's not very easy. They have to study for a long time. They have to have many exams and so many things they have to do before they can be actually fully qualified as a lawyer or a doctor. So how much more difficult it is to become the pure devotee of the Lord. We're trying, of course. And Prabhupada, out of his kindness, he described the devotees. He said, he was asked, someone asked Prabhupada, that aside from you, Srila Prabhupada, are there any other pure devotees on the planet? And Prabhupada, out of his kindness and compassion, he asked the devotees, how many members do we have in our society? All right? So at that time, devotees said, well, maybe 3,000. And Prabhupada said, then there are at least that many pure devotees. So it's surprising to think every devotee in ISKCON is a pure devotee. Well, yes. If we are practicing the process properly, if we are strictly following the 4 regulative principles and chanting the holy name every day, worshipping Lord Krishna and studying and hearing the scriptures, that is pure devotion. But, of course, there's different levels of pure devotion. It's not that everyone is on the same level. We know there are Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama. There's different levels of devotees. Somebody's doing sadhana bhakti, somebody's at bhava bhakti, and some rare soul may be at prema bhakti. there's different levels of pure devotion. It's not that everyone is the same, but still, if they're following the principles, they're practicing the 4 regulative principles and chanting the holy name, associating with Lord Krishna, that is pure devotion, pure devotee. Right? So we have to recognize that there are pure. To see all the members of the Krishna conscious society as pure devotees, that they're chanting the holy name, they're dedicated to Lord Krishna, and they've taken shelter, may have taken initiation. In the Nectar of Instruction, Rupa Goswami guides us about how to respect different devotees. He says we should mentally honor a devotee who chants the holy name. So everyone who's chanting the holy name, we should think they're a devotee. They're a pure devotee. They're just beginning, but they're chanting the holy name. And in our mind, we should mentally honor such a person, that his spiritual life has begun because he's chanting the holy name. So we mentally honor a devotee who chants the holy name, and we offer our obeisances to a devotee who's undergone spiritual initiation and is engaged in worshipping the deity. Right? Someone's taken initiation and they're doing deity worship. That's very nice devotional service. A very advanced devotee, because he is directly serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his deity form. So we will consider that to be pure devotion. And we should offer our obeisances to such a devotee who is dedicated to worship the deity. We have a lot of deities in our Krishna consciousness movement, and it's not everyone who wants to engage in the worship of the deities. We see actually some different places you'll find they have Bengali pujaris. They bring the pujari from Mayapur, and they bring someone over to worship the deity. They bring from another country. They bring from Bengal somebody. And of course they have to pay them some salary to do the service. So it's not the best thing. And it's also not good that people in a foreign country, people in another country, they're bringing someone from another country to worship the deity. They have invited the deity to come, but they don't want to worship the deity. This is not proper. When the Lord appears in our country, we should also be willing to serve the deity. It's not that we just let other people do that service. So the intermediate devotee, we offer obeisances to him. He's engaged in worshipping the deity. And he's a qualified pujari. He's undergone initiation. He's accepted the second initiation, and now he's worshipping the deity. So we should definitely respect such a devotee. And we show our respect by offering obeisances to him. But then Rupa Goswami said, we should associate with and faithfully serve that devotee who is fixed in undeviating devotional service and is freed of the propensity to criticize others. So, 2 points. He's fixed in devotional service That's important. His sadhana is very strong. He's very regulated in his activities, taking part in the different programs which go on every day. He has that enthusiasm, dedication to the process, and he's very regular. We saw Srila Prabhupada even one time he was not well, and devotee said to him, it was Rameshwara Prabhu, Rameshwara said to him, Srila Prabhupada, you're not well. They said, Prabhupada, you can just rest today. One of us will give the class. Prabhupada was going to give class, and the devotee was thinking, he's not well. That Prabhupada, better you just rest. One of us will give the class. But Prabhupada said to the devotee, said, no. He said, if I don't give class, then you will think it's all right for you not to give class when you are sick. So Prabhupada was, he'd noticed our nature, that if we saw any Prabhupada do something, we would also do it and use it as an excuse to avoid service. So be regular, to be fully engaged in devotional service, and not to criticize others. The propensity to criticize others, that is what we call kutinati, or fault-finding. And this is one of the anarthas which we want to remove when they do, for example, the cleansing of the Gundicha temple, the Mandira Marjanam, cleaning of the Gundicha temple, Gundicha Marjanam. We had just before Rath Yatra, the day before Rath Yatra, we do the cleansing of the Gundicha temple. So it's important for us to clean the temple very carefully, very thoroughly. And in his purport to this section in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada talks about the different anarthas. And one of the first ones which he mentions is kutinati, this tendency to fault find and to criticize other people. This is an anartha, this is something which we want to avoid. Srila Prabhupada would find fault, and he would bring out our faults to us. He said, Prabhupada would explain this, he said, because I am honeycombed with faults, therefore I see faults in others. So this was how Prabhupada recognized the tendency to see faults in others. He said, because I have a lot of faults myself, therefore I see faults in others. Of course, Prabhupada was being humble. Prabhupada didn't have faults, but still he was showing us that if we see faults in others, there must be a lot of faults in ourselves. And we should think more about correcting our own faults before we try to correct others. It's not the business of every devotee to find fault with other devotees. That is the job of the spiritual master. The spiritual masters, they can find fault with people, with their disciples particularly. But it's not the duty of everyone to go around finding fault with others. So we have to be very conscious of that and try to avoid these things. We want to make sure that we see our own faults and work on our own faults and not just become absorbed in criticizing and condemning other people. So Srila Prabhupada wanted us to work in that way. He said, that kind of devotee who doesn't see faults, he doesn't criticize, you want to associate with that person and serve him. Because in that kind of association, if we see that the devotee is not criticizing, then we won't criticize others. It's certainly not a good thing to be critical of other devotees. Rather, we want to appreciate them. The first offense in chanting the holy name is to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life to the holy name. So, to avoid that first offense, we want to see the good in others. Don't see the faults. Praise others and see the good points in them. One devotee came to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. There's a famous pastime that the one devotee came to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati and he was talking about the faults in another devotee. And he was complaining about this other devotee. Oh, he's lazy Prabhupada, he's dirty Prabhupada, oh, he's a lot of trouble, it's so hard to work with this other devotee. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was listening. Then he said to the devotee, he said, does this man you're criticizing, does he not have any good qualities at all? And the devotee said, well, he leads a good kirtan. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati then said to him, well, why don't you say that? Why you're only talking the faults? Why can't you just talk about his good qualities? Right? So we want to develop that nature to appreciate devotees and see the good things in devotees. Appreciate that they're chanting the holy name, that they're associating, they're coming to temple, they're taking part in the temple program. These things are very important. It's very nice to have devotees. We want to value devotees. Every devotee is important to us. We're not many people. We're a very small group of people. There are so many other people, not devotees. So we want to really appreciate the people who we have and try to do everything we can to help them and to help each other. The more we try to help each other, the more our community will flourish and expand. But if we are critical and fault-finding and arguing, then certainly we're allowing Kali to enter into our midst. And that Kali will influence all of us to argue, fault-finding tendency, and it's very discouraging, disheartening. And the result is people get discouraged and drift away and stop coming to temple. So we do have to be very careful about these things. We want pure devotion. Our Krishna conscious society is meant for cultivating pure devotion, not devotion influenced by the modes, but we want to be a society of pure devotees. And the more we appreciate each other, the more the community will develop and flourish. So it's very important for us to think like this and to think in a good way and to appreciate everyone. All right. So, are there any questions or comments? Yes, Prabhu? Is there a mic?
I understand there are two things. One thing is try to become a pure devotee, and one thing is, or let's say have that goal in mind, and one thing is to try to be kind and not be offensive. So one is a disposition or a goal, and the other is a practical endeavor. How to have both at the same time?
How to have both at the same time? Well, the endeavor and the goal will come in course of time, right? Becoming pure devotees. I explained we're already pure devotees. We're following the process, the society. We're all pure devotees, but there are different levels of pure devotion. And we do have to try to elevate ourselves to the higher levels of pure devotion. And so we want to practice the process of Krishna consciousness very carefully. We want to understand how to associate with each other and how to appreciate other devotees, how to cultivate the loving relationships with the devotees. We want to cultivate our Krishna consciousness in these ways, in a positive manner, thinking good about the people and appreciating our society. Sometimes devotees, they just spend the whole time being critical and finding faults with everything and everyone. But we want to try to appreciate the Krishna conscious effort, that it's not a very easy thing to become a devotee. Sometimes Prabhupada would describe that becoming a devotee means to declare war on Maya, right? We're fighting Maya, we're fighting the material energy. And the material energy is very strong and very bewildering and powerful. It's so powerful that it is not surprising that we're so few people, because the material energy is so powerful. But at the same time, that more people can become devotees, the more we are Krishna conscious ourselves, that Krishna is all attractive, and if we have Krishna consciousness ourselves, we can give it to others. We can infiltrate among other people and give them also Krishna consciousness. And we want to be an example. People should appreciate the devotees, that these Hare Krishna people are good people, that they're good people. They're always polite and courteous, respectful. They don't argue. Sometimes we get devotees, they're always arguing, quarreling. So create an unpleasant atmosphere. Anyway, our goal is to become Krishna conscious, and the mission to become Krishna consciousness is to become Krishna conscious. It's a mission, you could say. Well, to some extent, we're already Krishna conscious, that we're here in the Krishna conscious society. And we're practicing, we've taken initiation, many of you taken initiation, so you're on the path to Krishna consciousness. We're trying to develop our Krishna consciousness. Yeah, we would like to become pure devotees, but at some extent, Prabhupada considered all of us to be pure devotees. But we want to become a better devotee. That's important for us. So better devotee, we should think, what do I need to do to improve my Krishna consciousness? Well, we need to do things like be careful about fault finding. That is certainly not good for us. And then also desire for our own sense gratification is also not good. The karma kanda path, there is artha, the dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So these things can also be very materialistic. We practice religiosity just for some material purpose. We want economic development, and we want economic development for our sense gratification. And in the end, we want to get liberation also. So this is all anartha. These are all anarthas. We want to get rid of these kind of desires. A devotee is not thinking about sense gratification, what I want. We're not thinking even about liberation. We're simply thinking, I want pure devotion. And I want that pure devotion birth after birth. Wherever Krishna puts me, I want to be engaged in his service. So that should be our consciousness in developing our pure devotion. We simply want to please Krishna. Whatever Krishna wants, that is what we want. So that's the mission. Of course, it's a very high mission. It's not a small thing. But it's possible by the grace of pure devotees. We have the connection to so many great devotees. We have Srila Prabhupada and Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, and then Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So many great devotees are there, and we're connected to all of them by Krishna consciousness movement. We're practicing the process just as they did. So we can also connect to them. You understand? Prabhu, is that all right? We want to develop our Krishna consciousness to the manner which is pleasing to the acharyas. Okay, any other question? Yes?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So sometimes there may be challenging situations in devotees' life, and devotees like to express themselves in confidence and talk about the situation, or devotees involved even maybe in not so nice manner sometimes. So where's the line between criticizing and like expressing to get relief of those emotions?
Well, we should be cautious about speaking about other devotees. We may speak about certain tendencies and certain behaviors which are not proper, but we don't want to mention people by name. Srila Prabhupada, in criticizing other movements, other so-called spiritual leaders, Prabhupada would never mention their name. He would ask, what is their philosophy? And then Prabhupada would point out the error in their philosophy. He never mentioned people by name. You mention people by name, you get problems. And it happened. Sometimes people would mention and they got heavy reactions. You have to be very careful, because some people have got followers and they've got influence. But we can point out the fault in their philosophy or maybe in their behavior, but we don't want to mention anybody by name. That's more proper. We don't want to condemn people by name. Because somebody may have some problem, but they may come back again. But if you mention them by name, then you make it very difficult for them to come back. And we want to keep people in Krishna consciousness. People may deviate, but if we mention their names, very difficult for them to come back. So we have to be very careful about that. Yes?
I have a similar question, like Subal Gopal. On one hand, one should develop an aversion against fault finding, but in the first canto, Srila Prabhupada writes, one should not give up one's sense of discrimination just to be friendly. So when you see devotees doing things wrong, how do you act?
Well, okay. You see somebody doing something wrong, so you don't have to associate, but you don't have to make a big issue out of it, that they're doing something wrong. You could bring it up to the attention of the authorities and let somebody who's an authority figure deal with it. We shouldn't try to take everything into our own hands, but at the same time we're cautious about where we associate with. We know something is wrong, not right, so we avoid that kind of association. But you don't have to try to correct it yourself. Show the example. The example speaks louder than words. Show the good example. Don't worry about all the bad things, but just show a good example ourselves. I think that's the best way to deal with it. Hare Krishna. Yes?
I would like to ask a question of, because we are followers of the Parampara, and in our Parampara we worship Krishna in Vrindavan. Here, somehow Lord Nrsingadev, he has developed quite a presence. So when we worship Lord Nrsingadev as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, how do we properly appreciate Krishna in Vrindavan and Lord Nrsingadev at the same time?
Well, we can appreciate Krishna in Vrindavan by reading Prabhupada's books, by reading 10th Canto Srimad Bhagavatam. Read the Krishna book. Like that, we can talk about Vrindavan, hear about it from the Shastra. And this way we can always be thinking of Vrindavan. It's a matter of taste. Some people have a taste for Vrindavan, some people have a taste to worship Lord Nrsingadev. There's no harm. We can be in Vrindavan. Prabhupada was in New York. He said, I'm always in Vrindavan, thinking of Krishna. So here we're the Krishna conscious society. We're not the Nrsinga conscious society. We're the Krishna conscious society. So we do need to talk about Krishna. And we read Srimad Bhagavatam. We don't just talk about Lord Nrsingadev. We're talking about Krishna. And we're talking about Vrindavan. It's going on constantly. Singing songs and so many things. We're worshipping Lord Nrsingadev, but at the same time we understand Lord Nrsingadev as the avatar of Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu is coming from Lord Krishna. So Krishna is there. It's not a problem. Worship the Lord. Lord Nrsingadev gives special protection. So we have to develop a relationship with Lord Nrsingadev, and that will also bring us to Krishna. Prahlad Maharaj had a relationship with Lord Nrsingadev, but ultimately he's also a Krishna devotee. So it's not a problem. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki